Hello, Jerry Stevenson here. Today, we're going to talk about something you might have wondered about or you may not. But it's why the bow in the back of my hat. I'm going to show you this one right here in this new hat, clean hat. This little white bow right back here in the back. Why is that little bow there? You've seen it 1,000 times. You may have done it like me. You may have seen it and just briefly thought, well, I wonder why that's there. Well, I'm going to tell you why it's there. But first, let's play a game where we're going to try to guess what it is. And I'm going to give you some hints and clues about what it's not. So, you like I said, you may have saw it and then you just fleeting thought. But now you're wondering, right? I hope so. I'll tell you, but first, let's guess what it's not. It's not to hold the band in place. The band is sewed, you can see from this stitching, it's sewed all the way around the hat. So it's not to hold that in place. That was one of the guesses that people made. Another one was, it's to indicate the rear of it. Well, you find it with the rear. Well, you don't have to have that because the stitching is right over that. So you could fill in with your hand and find the stitches and find the rear of your hat. Now, some said it was to adjust it. No, the hat don't adjust. You might be able to stretch it a little bit one way, out a little bit, but no, the hat does not adjust. That sticks. That's solid, and that's there. And besides, if you was trying to indicate the rear with it, the stitching would indicate the rear. Some says, well, that's to make it lay flatter. Nope, it's not that, because it would lay flatter if the bow wasn't there. And milliners and hatters, what happened was they used mercury back in the early processes of making hats and making felt. It was used in the process, mercury was. It helped the fur turn loose of the hide. And so they breathe these fumes and they come in contact with it. And as a result, they got mercury poisoning. Or as some people call it, Mad Hatter's disease. You remember the Mad Hatter, Alice in Wonderland? Well, the mercury poisoning affects the nervous system, the speech, and the movement. And so they would say those guys are going mad. Well, many died from it. It was legally banned in 1941. It was getting to be phased out by then. They were realizing what the problem was. And they use some other stuff now that's supposed to be harmless. I think like hydrogen peroxide or something in some of that process. So the milliners or hatters put that bow in the back of a hat as a symbolic memorial or a tribute to all those that lost their lives making hats. And so it seems like a kind of a nice thing to do, showing a little tribute to them. And if you Google bows in the back of my hat, I've Googled it and I didn't come up with anything. So I'm going to name this something about bows in the back of my hat. So it may be that when you Google, that may be the only answer you get. But if you do want to read more about it, you can read about it as Mad Hatter's disease. And you can read more on Google about that. And just remember, it's got to be true because you heard it from an old cowboy on YouTube. Till we meet again, thanks for watching.